We are looking at the G600 Logitech MMO gaming mouse. Now, this mouse will probably most compared to a Razer Naga, which is actually the mouse of my choice currently. So that's predominantly what we are going to be comparing it to today. First of all, the first thing that you will notice is this mouse is white. Now, it's something we don't normally see in mouse these days. Now, it actually has 20 buttons. There are 12 on the side, the left and right click, as well as a middle 2 buttons here, the middle click, and it also goes to the left and the right sides, as well as a third click on the right. The ridges are designed so that the flat sections are in the middle and that the buttons actually tilt so that you can obviously see that they are designed to be in those 2 sections. The only thing I find annoying with this is that actually there isn't a smooth glide between the buttons. If you are gaming and you're going from, say, number 2 down to number 11, it is quite difficult to slide. It requires more movement to actually move your thumb up and down to get those buttons in, rather than just a pure slide is something that I would do with the Naga. The size of the mouse is great. I actually prefer the shape of this than the Naga's itself. It is a lot wider than the Naga is at the top, and I find that this actually gives a wider surface for your hand to actually rest on, and it definitely feels there's more control when you're holding it. I mean, as I've previously stated, I do have quite small hands, but generally the fit of the Logitech G600 is better. If we look at the bottom, rather than the typical grips that you normally see around the bottom, it has these 2 grips at the top and bottom of the mouse. Now, what I like about these is they aren't actually detachable kind of sticky grips that you put on them. It's actually built in, which is great, because if you can see the bottom of my Naga, they've actually come off, and I need to get a replacement for these. So these do come off, which is quite annoying because you feel like you've got to spend additional money to actually buy replacement grips on the bottom. Whereas, as I said, the Logitech is just built in. It is really, really smooth. I really like the feel of this mouse on a mouse mat. I've said before, the Razer Naga is quite stiff, it's sticky, and this does feel smooth. I just find that in comparison, they have tried to make it cooler by splitting it into 2 sections so you have easy navigation. However, the way that they've made them tilted and raised, it just makes it more frustrating to actually get to the button. And for a PvE player, maybe in MMOs, it's not such a big a problem. But if you bind your 1 to 10 skills, for example in Guild Wars 2, in PvP, and you need to get to number 10 as quick as possible, this is going to stop you and your reaction times are going to be slowed down, which is something that is critical for tournament or any sort of structured ranking PvP that you would play. Even if you were playing an FPS game or something like StarCraft 2, you would need the quick reaction times, and I think this definitely prevents you, and it's something that would stop high-end hardcore players actually purchasing this mouse. If they changed that, if they just had the smooth buttons on the side, again, as I said, this mouse would be perfect. Now, I've just plugged this in to actually show you guys what the lighting and what the numbers on the side say. As you can see that this is changing from a various spectrum of colours. You can actually set it to stay on one colour like you would with the Naga. It's just going to go around all of its various colours. The thing that also annoys me with the left hand side is that they've actually marked these as kind of the end numbers, so it starts from 9 and gets to 20. Now personally, I like the fact that on the Naga it is 1 through to 12. That makes sense to me. 1 through to 12, that's great. If you are paying attention to the numbers, which you do when you first get one of these mice, once you've got comfortable as to where the positions are, the numbers are, you don't care what it says on here. They could be completely gone and it's fine. It's like getting a new phone. You get used to the keypad and then you don't care what it says. You know how to text, you know how to send emails, you don't even look at the keyboard anymore. But to begin with, if this was your first MMO mouse, if you had 9 bound to 1, it would really confuse you. You'd be looking for 1, realise it's 9, you'd be looking for 10, realise it's 16. It would be really confusing, and I think that's something as well that puts me off using this mouse, is the fact that the numbers seem wrong to me. I love the contrast of the white and black, I really do, and I really love the colours that are shown. I love the smoothness, I love the bottom, but just the fact that the numbers aren't in numerical order and the fact that it's got the ridges that prevents it being smooth just makes it quite difficult for it to be a high-end professional gaming mouse. It would be something for more of a casual MMO player who wouldn't really be bothered about those reaction times, wouldn't really be worried that the fact it may take them another half a second to get to where they want to be. But for me personally, that is something that's really important. The way that it is built, the sheer size of it, the way it fits in your hand, it just feels like it belongs in your hand. It's like an extension to your arm, whereas the Naga is thin. It feels like you're gripping onto it for dear life. And also the Naga buttons are quite in a small amount of space, whereas the Logitech ones are bigger, more bulkier, easier to press. I just wish the surfaces were flat, as I've said. It does have a gaming grade laser tracking that will apparently sense even the slightest of nudges, which I can confirm that even just the slight movement that I'm doing now, it does pick it up really well. Much like the Naga, it has got a braided cable, which means it won't get tangled. They are really long lasting, they're hard wearing, and personally I find them great. You can have 3 onboard memory profiles that will switch between the colour selections that you want, the keybinds that you want, also the tracking as well, and you can switch these at any point and they do stay on board. The mouse does also come in black. However, personally, I think the white is actually one of the best features of the mouse. I like the fact that it stands out. I like the fact that it's not the typical either matte or shiny black. In regards to pricing, it does come in at £69.99, which is a pretty decent price. It's about the same as the Naga, so again, you can tell that the Naga will be its biggest rival just from the design of the mouse. I would recommend this mouse. If someone asked me, do you like the Logitech G600, I would recommend it. I think it's a great mouse. It's really sturdy, it feels secure, it feels great in your hand, but I would say that I wouldn't use it for something such as a professional tournament match or something that would require quick reactions and speed, purely for the fact that you're binding those buttons. If you are one of those players that has a lot of keybinds on your keyboard and use the buttons on your mouse for things like macros or special abilities or, you know, toggling things, then that is absolutely fine. If you play like me, where you have your actual skills on your skill bar attached to these buttons, if you have 1 to 10 binded so you don't touch your keyboard at all apart from moving and cameras, then I would not recommend this mouse. But again, it's completely how you play. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you liked this week's video. If you haven't checked out last week's video, please click on the link below and I will see you next time. Bye.